Hello children, I am Dr. Minithavan and today I will take first chapter of class 10th history book Nationalism in Europe. Children, today we all live in a democratic nation and believe in nationalism. But do we know the meaning of nationalism? From where did this concept came into existence? And how it is related to Europe, and what was the dream of Europeans? All this will be discussed in this chapter. Now first we'll see positioning of Europe in world map. Towards east is Asia, towards its north is Arctic Ocean, towards its west is North Atlantic Ocean, and towards south is Mediterranean Sea. So Europe is aligned with Asia, as we have read in class 9th that it is called Eurasian plate. We are going to talk about this small continent in this chapter. This is map of Europe. Although we are talking about nationalism in Europe, but we will be focusing more on France, Germany, Italy, UK, Austria, Hungary, and little bit we'll be talking about Greece also. So here is what we are going to read in this chapter. First of all, we'll be taking up the painting of Frederick Soriot. Then we'll be talking about French Revolution and idea of nationalism. French Revolution, we have read this topic in class 9. Here we'll be taking a bird's eye view of French Revolution, what happened in France. And then making of nationalism in Europe, how feeling of nationalism, it arose, it dwelt in Europe. Next topic will be Age of Revolution, 1830 to 1848. These 18 years, Europe witnessed lot of revolutions. So we call this Age of Revolutions. Then we'll move towards the unifications. Unifications of Germany, Italy and Britain. How they were segregated small provinces and how they became one. We'll be going to read that story. Allegories. Allegories, they are the nation personified. I would say, like we have read Bharat Mata, so we'll be reading about the allegories of Germany and France. And in the end, we'll be reading about nationalism and imperialism. Nationalism, how the feeling of nationalism arose and what was the basic reason behind the spread of imperialistic ideas. And so this is what we are going to learn in this chapter. To begin with, we should first see the painting of Frederick Soriot. Frederick Soriot, he was a painter, a French artist who in 1848 prepared 4 paintings, 4 series of paintings. In those paintings, he visualized his dream of world, which was made up of democratic social republic. The French artist had prepared 4 prints. Now we are going to discuss one of the 4 prints made by Soriot. Now this painting, if you will see closely, shows men and women from different ages and social groups marching in a long queue and giving honor to the Statue of Liberty. The painting describes Statue of Liberty as a female figure. She's having a torch of enlightenment in one hand and Charter of Men's Right in the other hand. The statue is a female figure because liberty was identified, it was defined as a female figure by various French artists. He has shown shattered remain of absolutist institutions on the ground Now, what is this absolutist? Absolutist means a form of rule or government where the power is concentrated in the hands of a single person. An absolutist is someone who believes that the best form of government, it allows one person to hold the power. Kings and emperors had all powers in their hands, military as well as political, and they was repressive also, means they would have curbed all types of oppositions also. So absolutist means concentration of power, and here he has shown absolutist institutions on the ground. And then he had a vision. Now the vision he had, it's called a utopian vision. Why? Now what is this utopia? Utopia, it's a vision which is unlikely to happen. It is a vision of an ideal society, so ideal that it is unlikely to actually exist. If you must have heard Khayali Pulao, he has described a group of people from different nations walking together towards Statue of Liberty. The distinction, it can be easily made or it can be easily felt, as you can see people with different flags and different types of costumes worn by them. Those who are leading are United States and Switzerland. Why? Because those were already nation states by then. So that is why they are shown leading the procession. So now what is this nation state? We'll talk about it later. Here we'll leave it here only. Then you may see after US and Switzerland, then comes France with its tricolor flag, and she is followed by Germany. Germany was not a nation when this painting was made, but as it was a dream of Soriot, so he painted various countries that are part of his dream painting, such as Austria, two Sicilies, Lombardy, Poland, England, Ireland, Hungary and Russia. He has also painted Christ. You can see Christ on the top of the painting. He has also painted Christ, saints and angels who are watching the scene from the heavens, who are gazing the scenes. Gazing means watching the scene from the heavens. This has been done to depict, to tell the fraternity. Fraternity means brotherhood, bhaichara. You can see fraternity written on the top. This chapter will deal with various issues that were visualized by Soriot in his painting. Now we'll come to nation states. We talked about nation states. Now what is nation state? A nation state refers to a country with a well-defined boundaries, resided by people with a similar culture. They have shared history. It is also supposed to have a government of its choice. The people in nation state are supposed to have unity, strength and cooperation. Fine. So this is what nation state is. Ernest Renan was a French philosopher. Now what does he says about nation state? We'll read about that. Now he says, Ernest Renan, he says that a nation is a culmination, means collection of long past endeavors, sacrifice and devotions. To try, it means to try hard to achieve something with struggle, sacrifice and devotion for the country. So it's not only boundaries and the government, it is struggle of the people also. Now he further says, nation's existence is a daily plebiscite. Plebiscite means referendum. Plebiscite, it is a direct voting to accept or reject a proposal. So he says that it is it's not only boundaries, it's not only kings, emperor, it is struggle, sacrifice of the people as well as will of the people, which makes the place a nation state. So in this slide, again we'll recapitulate what we have seen in the painting. The first print shows the people of Europe and America marching in a long train and paying homage to the Statue of Liberty as they pass through it. In one hand, torch of enlightenment is there, and in the other is the Charter of Rights of Men. On the earth, in the foreground, there are shattered remains bickeries of the absolutist institutions. We have seen crowns, pieces of crowns were lying there. In Sorio's utopian vision, the world is distinct as the world is grouped as a distinct nation, identified through their flags and their national costumes. And so many in the procession, so many countries are walking behind, moving behind United States and Switzerland, which are already nation states by that time. And from the heavens, Christ, saints, and angels, they gaze upon the scene, they see scene, and the artist tries to symbolize, he tries to shows the fraternity in the different nations of the world. And this is a basic reason why we call it an utopian idea, because it can actually never happen that all the nations of the world, they are walking in brotherhood. So today we read about the painting of Frederick Sorio and his vision of the world. We learnt new terms like utopia, absolutist, nation state, and very soon I'll come up with next topic. Till then, goodbye and take care.